welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that got abducted by aliens but got returned to Earth because our brains were full of pop culture references and nothing useful. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Chad, and today we're talking about Dark Skies, a scary alien movie.
Ooh, crazy. Like always, you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/epicgeekout, and also check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com.
Make sure you check us out over at Twitter at Epic Geek Out, and please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just click the button right around us. Also, this is our 1-year anniversary. We have something a little bit special for you after our review. But without further ado, let's get into our review of Dark Skies.
So Dark Skies stars Kerry Russell and Josh Hamilton as the parents of a family who are experiencing these disturbing events that kind of escalate to the point in the normal kind of horror movie tropes. This one, you see it on the commercials, so that, this really isn't a spoiler, has to do with aliens. So instead of your normal ghosts that are haunting the house, you're dealing with aliens coming in to, wreak havoc. Chad, what do you think? I mean, I'm trying to think of more to say, but that's the movie. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the alien genre. For me, it's more frightening than ghosts, because while I do believe in both, I think, ghosts for me are less threatening than aliens, which probe you and do
Casper.
stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, ghosts, I'm not really afraid of ghosts as much as aliens. So these kind of movies, like Fire in the Sky was one when I was a kid that scared the shit out of me. This one also scares me a lot. So, I mean, I'm a huge fan of these kind of movies. It's kind of refreshing because we haven't had one of these in a while. So going into it, I was pretty excited. It does follow pretty much verbatim the same format as a Paranormal Activity movie, just because it starts with one little thing happens one night and then flash to the day.
But it isn't found footage.
It is not found footage, which is what I was about to say, is that no found footage. So that I'm so thankful for, because I feel like they easily could have made this found footage and did it, number one, to be cheaper, and number two, just because that's the commercial hot thing right now. But they didn't, and I appreciate that, because I feel like it was a better movie because of it. I don't know if Paranormal Activity would be as good if it didn't have found footage, but this, I feel like it did benefit from that. As far as the plot goes, it did at points drag, because it was pretty much like 20 minutes would build up to one thing happening at night, and it was kind of just like, it felt to me really long, and it wasn't a long movie.
It was, yeah, and I'll say that too. It's only an hour 35, I think.
Yeah.
But it feels long.
I walked out of it thinking it was 2 hours, but it definitely is not, because there's stretches of time where you know something's gonna happen, and you wait for it, and you see it, and it's crazy, and then like a lot of like dealing with the aftermath of that stuff, more so than Paranormal Activity, I think, like, because they're always, or most of the time, awake at night when this is all going on. So, that they could have maybe cut some stuff out. As far as where the movie went, as far as the plot goes, I'm not really happy with how it ended. It could have actually ended a scene earlier, and it would have actually gone more of a horror route, as you said. And I think it could have been a better movie for me. But it tied up everything that I kind of wanted it to tie up. And the twist per se wasn't really a twist. I mean, you could see it coming from a mile away, but
I called it exactly.
Well, that twist, yeah. I mean, but the other twist before that, I mean, you kind of could guess that from, not even seeing a lot of the movie. But also there was this scene towards the end with J.K. Simmons, his name is, right? I said J.K. Rowling, but that's not her name, or his name, where it tied into a lot of the mythology of actual alien lore with the Greys and the kind of types of aliens that people report seeing and whatnot. And I really enjoyed that mythology part, and I kind of wish that there was more.
But there was literally only one scene with them,
and it was at the end, and it almost in a way hurt the movie, because all the logic that it established in that scene was completely forgotten and pretty much gone against and made stuff not make sense in the context of this movie.
And he said he said something like along the lines of, they asked, well, can we just move? And he's like, they came thousands of, millions of miles, light years to get you. Do you think moving down the block is going to help? But if you give them some trouble, there are cases that they, it was hard to stomach.
It definitely, like, I really enjoyed that mythology, because I love that kind of stuff, especially in movies. With Paranormal Activity, I really like the mythology, the backstory. But yeah, it completely discredited a lot of the stuff that happened afterwards and even before. So, it's cool that they set it up that the aliens have been here forever. They're doing these things. You can't control it. But then don't make it that you can sort of control it, and then you do things that you know, like it completely crosses paths there for me. And, you know, it could have been better. But I also did enjoy it. I thought the scares were scary. When you saw the actual aliens, I thought that was creepy as hell. But overall, you know, I mean, the only testament I can say is that I came home and looked on Netflix for what kind of alien documentaries there are out there. Not a lot on Netflix, but I caught one on TV yesterday, and it was actually right around where we were from. It was a UFO sighting, so it was from Bucks County, so I was like, this is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really into the alien genre, so I think for me, I liked it, but otherwise, not such a great movie.
Yeah, I loved the idea of this. I like having the aliens be, you know, the bad guys in this horror situation, because it makes complete sense. It does. But the execution of this movie has a lot that, you know, just went wrong. One of the great things I think about the Paranormal Activity movies, you know, for whatever, if you like them or not, the house is a character in those movies. It feels like a lived-in house. It feels, I mean, the one where they went back and, you know, was the earlier footage, that felt, I mean, the production design in that, I think is incredible. This house felt like a house that you would go to in a new development, and it was set up to, like, sell. You know, it didn't feel lived in at all by this family, and I think that killed the movie.
Not to mention there were a lot of poor, and saw this nice stuff.
And they also had this whole like line of like, you know, the drama that they're going on because they're, you know, financially unstable. The dad didn't have a job, which didn't tie into anything really at all. You know, they just threw it in there. But like the house didn't feel like a house to me, and I think, you know, that just it took so much out of the movie. And there were a lot of close-ups on people's faces where you couldn't even experience what was going on. It wasn't even like a long shot where you see something dart across or something like that. And I mean, you know, that just took so much out of it. The two kids, you know, they have two sons. I think they did a really good job. The littlest one was adorable. And, you know, you rooted for them. But the parents, I just did not like. The way they fought was more annoying. I know what they were going for, but it just took me out of the movie, and I couldn't care for them. I mean, all these crazy things were happening, and I understand, you know, accepting it's aliens is hard, but like, come on. Also, some of the scenes where, you know, the dad's in the backyard, you know, staring off, and she's hitting her head on the the glass door,
trailers,
was more silly looking than frightening. And there were people, I mean, there were kids in front of us that were laughing at that, and it didn't have the horror effect that it should have. So I love the
especially
concept.
the banging of the head, for sure.
It just looked funny. Like, it just didn't make any sense. So I liked the mythology before it. You know, it was really creepy when they go downstairs and everything's set up crazy in a way and stuff like that. But it just didn't feel real. And I would have maybe preferred this to be a found footage movie. I think we're getting a lot of them, so, you know, might have been the last one I see for a while. But I would have preferred it to feel more of a family, use unknown actors, and have more frightening moments. Because I don't know, it was more laughable to me than, you know, scary.
I mean, I liked Kerry Russell. I thought she did
I like
a good
her,
job.
but I just
especially after coming off The Americans, where I wasn't a big fan. But Josh Hamilton, I didn't like him, and I didn't like his character. He was kind of, like you said, he wasn't someone that you were rooting for at all, because he was kind of, I mean, they put him in a situation where you're supposed to root for him because he's, you know, down on his luck, doesn't have a job, but they made him do just things that, like, the way he acted were just weird.
And, like, the things that they wouldn't tell each other,
Yeah.
or
And
how
they got so mad about it.
Yeah, and it was just over the top. And I'm sure, you know, people might react like that, but it didn't do enough to pull you into this family. You know, one line that was used, you know, well, my son was sick, you know, is like a big thing in the end, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't ground anything. You know, it didn't have you see a picture that, you know, you could then make the connections later. The connections were just so in your face.
That's true.
That they were, like, you know, not giving us as audience members enough credit to piece it together. I mean, this was like a 6, you know, piece puzzle for a child, you know,
Like
that was
blocks.
just put into place, and, you know, there was, you know, hardly any effort.
I will say though that I think that I really did buy into the way that they reacted in the situations, more so than other films like this, where the things were happening and the father was skeptical, but like he reacted how I think I would react, like, really, aliens, like, that's crazy, but then like eventually start to kind of believe it once you see it, sort of thing. So I did kind of, but
Yeah,
then
the
the way they
aliens are getting
acted
in their
at the end-
house, and then the way they set up like the fort at the end. Like,
Yeah,
it just, I did
yeah.
not
The end
enjoy
would
that.
kind of ruin the movie,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because building up to it, I was actually completely on board. So that's Dark Skies. Check it out. It's in your theaters now. So it has been said, it has been told to you that this is our 1-year anniversary episode. Craziness, yeah.
Do the fireworks in the back.
I
Gotta love
believe it's
green
episode
screens.
number 110. So that's a lot of hours that you have all been watching, and we have a lot of subscribers, a lot of video views, and we just want to express our gratitude for you for actually keeping us going with this.
Yeah,
'cause
the
I think
comments
if we
are
weren't-
great, and
Yeah.
I try to respond to the comments. I don't get notified when they happen, so it's when I'm kind of trolling our own page for them to try to
Yes.
respond. So thank you for doing. Anytime you've invested in us, we appreciate. So
Yeah, and any comments, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna share a little look back on our 1 year of episodes, and actually, I kind of did a little scroll through our videos the other day, and I think we've evolved in both quality and our abilities as
Agreed.
hosts, because I think
think
we're
so.
not the best yet, but
not the best,
but we are. I think we've gotten better, and I think hopefully we've provided some insight to you on certain things. You've taken our reviews to heart, whether it's a movie, a game, comic, whatever. Hopefully you checked out some cool things. So
Yeah,
here's
feedback's
about you.
great. There's things that we miss that don't hit our radar. So certainly let us know if there's something that we should read, we should see, we
Definitely.
should play, anything like that. We appreciate that.
So enjoy this, and thanks for watching every episode of Epic Geek Out.
Cue
from
the
this year.
montage scene.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Epic Geek Out. I am Chad,
I'm Rob.
and we are doing the show to talk about our favorite geek things, and it's going to be everything from movies to video games, television shows, maybe some books. Rob will review the books. I will review the Cliff Note
Notes.
versions of the books because I do not like to read. The only show on the internet where Greedo never shoots first.
Where the movie John Dies at the End is the last of the Die Hard series that doesn't do their laundry, but takes the quarters and goes down to their local arcade,
The only show on the internet that always moves at 88 miles per hour.
where with great power comes absolutely no responsibility.
Feels like warm apple pie.
The only show on the internet where Pixar is still trying to find Nemo,
The only show on the internet that can actually assemble the Avengers.
sees a no fracking bumper sticker, and just expects that it had something to do with Battlestar.
Where Jack Bauer sleeps through his alarm clock.
That when the zombie apocalypse happens, we're definitely going to our local pub.
Where Rob and I actually hire Aaron Sorkin to write our epic biographies.
What they did with the fact that they spent 4 years doing origin stories, each of them money-making, successful movies in their own right. And even I revisited Captain America last night. Great cast of Captain America, throwing Tommy Lee Jones, throwing Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Incredible, and others, of course.
This movie, I said to Rob, leaving, my favorite movie of the year so far. I think you probably agree. It's hard to compare to our popcorn flicks that we saw, which we love, Avengers. But we're talking about these serious drama pieces now, the Oscar-worthy pieces, and this movie, perfect on every level.
I really enjoyed the movie. If you read the books, you definitely have to go see it. You might not like it, but from reading the books, I really enjoyed it.
I kind of love this show.
Oh, that's crazy. I watched the first episode, I think, with my jaw on the ground, in anticipation, in pure adoration and love of the show. Wait for someone to pay you to go see this movie, if that ever happens.
That's your opinion.
This
on
movie
it.
sucked.
That's that. And also,
It's bad. It's very, very bad game. If I would have paid a full price, I rented this. If I would have paid for it, I would have been livid. Just if I'm a fan of the series, and to get the quality of game that they put out.
But then, I think the most creative ones were they had a fog house with electric shit in it.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
it's going to make sounds.
Forever?
Well, yeah, when you move it, which I think you just hold it
Uh-oh.
up.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Maybe I did it wrong.
We're about to go into sci-fi speed dating. It's a show on TLC Geek Love. The guy is here, and they're running it for this Comic-Con. Rob and Matt are going to be doing the speed dating. I will be filming it because I, unfortunately, Well, I'm not single. I guess not, unfortunately, but it'd be kind of an interesting experience.
That's on tape.
You're gonna need the screwdriver to get it off.
Should I have drank beforehand?
No, I think if you need to drink to meet women, that's the least of your problems.
And that is now my problem. So.
How was it? First one?
Good. I'm not dead, which is good. I still
Do you feel more at ease, or you?
Yeah, I mean, she bit me, so start off with getting bit kind of gets the juices flowing.
Well.
I think you just. There we go. We got it.
Okay.
Behind us is actually Comic-Con Philadelphia. We're
Wizard
here,
World
Wizard
Comic-Con.
World Comic-Con. Today is the first day we're here.
So, I just started watching a show that might be considered one of the geekiest shows of all time. I'm ashamed that I haven't seen it to date, but it's on Netflix, so I'm catching up on the new version of Doctor Who. It is a geeky show. It upsets me when I go to like Comic-Con and I didn't understand some of the references, some of the costumes. I was like, that's from Doctor Who. I want to see if I like it.
I am thankful for Battlestar Galactica.
It's actually the third time we've thanked that on this show.
Is it?
Because I think I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
awesome.
let me tell you something. I just finished the series, and I feel like there's a hole in my heart because I miss Colonel Tygon for Arkan Cylons.
Thanks for watching this episode of Epic Geek Out.
Boom, boom, boom. Should I have not said his last name?